Greetings, fellow white tigers. Tiki here,
And Jacob Wile too.
and welcome to another thrilling edition of Tiki's Universe. That's right, it's the all-encompassing vlog series for all things current cartoons, including Steven Universe, coming soon, My Little Murphy's Law, coming very soon, DuckTales in 2017, but now, Jacob Wile, we are here to talk about Star versus the Forces of Evil. And Jacob, what?
I said, yeah.
Yeah. Jacob, this is an exciting episode, an exciting week, because this is the penultimate episode before the mid-season, Jacob. We're almost to episode 11.
Which looks like this will be a Halloween episode.
I'm really excited about that. I'm so down for Star versus Force of Evil Halloween. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, I think this is a really strong week. Couple of really good episodes. This one definitely leans more towards the humorous side, as you know our pictures kind of indicate here. But let's just dive right into it then, because I think we're going to have a little bit more to say about the next episode. So,
yeah.
I feel like this kind of pairing of episodes that we got this week kind of represents something that's been happening a lot recently, where the first episode will be like a more classic, like very structurally very similar to a usual Star versus Force of Evil episode, where it'll be like Star and Marco on some sort of antics and some sort of dimension hopping adventure. In this case, it's Star and Tom. It's Marco and Tom, but still we have Marco as a main character. And then Jacob, we've been seeing this more and more. The next episode is just entirely Buff Frog. Marco and Star nowhere to be seen at all. So really interesting contrast. Let's get to the first episode, which is Friendenemies. Yeah. So Jacob, right off the top, what do you think of this one?
I thought it was like a pretty good episode. Like I definitely interested in the character of Tom and how he tried to become friends with Margot, even though at the end it's revealed to be all a ruse in a way. But spoiler alert. But in a way, but I do like this episode.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was leaning more towards the humorous side of things. They were really over the top about like, oh my god, just look how much basically just the bromance that started developing between Star and Marco and Tom throughout the episode was just on high alert. On high alert, Jacob. Just seriously, the bromance levels were off the charts for a while. So let's get right into it. We start the episode with Star trapped in a bunch of Christmas tree lights. Don't know how she got that way. Don't know what she was doing with them, but whatever. It's Star being Star.
And we never do.
And Marco is trying to get tickets for a Mackie Hand movie marathon. Mackie Hand is a martial artist, a Swedish martial artist, I believe, who died 30 years ago while performing one of his own stunts.
On himself. I think that's a reference to like the Lees.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately. It's a dark bit of humor, Jacob. I'm not sure entirely how I feel about that. Like, that's really going dark there, but it's fine. Like, I'm not offended by it or anything. I'm just saying, like, I could see some people being kind of triggered by a joke like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just like a reference to it, I guess.
Oh, I know. But, so, Jacob, I don't know about you, but the scene with Marco on the laptop is very relatable. I've had this happen with Disney events that I've wanted to go to. I've had it happen with concerts I've wanted to go to. Just staring at the laptop, and then it's just, like, sold out like less than a day after the tickets went on sale, and you're just like, no. And I love the animation of Marco just slamming the laptop on his head repeatedly.
Yeah, that's not going to solve anything, really.
Oh, it was just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Of course.
Oh, God. But then Todd appears with, seemingly nefarious intentions, as always. I don't know about you, but I was never really kind of on Todd's side.
Yeah, Tom really hasn't had the best reputation.
No, not entirely. Not entirely. So he genuinely wants to hang out with Marco, though. It's like on surface level, he seems like he's just like, yeah, Marco, we really connected that one time. That one time when you kidnapped me.
Like, you kidnapped me.
Well, look, I know I've been a little bit aggro in the past, and I'm sorry. I promise not to get mad. So a lot of good setup going on.
Yeah. But Star actually convinces him to go with Tom.
Star shows
as
up very little in these 2 episodes.
she doesn't even show up at all. This is probably like her not counting the episodes where she doesn't appear, her shortest appearance other than Ludo in the Wild.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, she has like a little bit with the Christmas lights at the very beginning, but that's literally kind of it. So,
and the thing is, they could have gone the whole red belt route and showed her how she got out of that.
and I'm not complaining because Red Belt is the worst episode of the season. So
I'm not really surprised. I'm glad they didn't do that either.
Yeah. I just think it proves that this show's really developing a good cast of supporting characters that can kind of hold their own, which is really a good thing. Like, this show's really been developing that well in the last season. Okay, so so I love Tom's getup of the funeral hearse. Basically, like, it's essentially like a souped up version of the hearse that's parked outside of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
Skeleton horse and everything.
Yeah, I love Tom just very casually being like, "Giddy up, skeleton horse." I know there's just something about the delivery of that. Just giddy up, skeleton horse.
I just really love the horse, especially. I love the horse though. Especially in the first, was like, "Why didn't you tell me I was dead?"
Oh God. Okay, so we have inside of the hearse is just a
master of hammer space, and like these people are like the masters of hammer space.
Totally. So we have 6 flat screen TVs, a bunch of photo booths, and a white tiger.
Yes.
Curious, very curious, Jacob. Very curious indeed.
Yes, very, very curious.
Okay, so Tom is just trying to be very extra nice to Marco. He just conjures him up some cereal, and Marco, of course, is very skeptical about this.
Naturally, I mean, as with anybody who's in a person of the demon who's kidnapped you and tried to kill you in the past.
But Tom is trying to convince Marco, "No, man, I'm just a huge fan of Mackie Hand." And Marco's kind of drilling him a little bit, like, "What's your favorite Mackie Hand movie?" And I don't know, Jacob, what do you read into this moment? Like, do you think Tom actually has any sort of opinion on Mackie Hand at all, or do you think he just like Wikipedia'd his filmography or something like that?
He probably did Wikipedia.
So at first, Tom's kind of stumbling, like, "Oh, I don't know," and then he's kind of like, "Wait! I have 2 favorites: Hand to Hand, to Hand, and Hand to Hand, to Hand 2." But now that I'm saying it, I'm gonna go with the original Swedish version.
Marco actually is impressed.
Yeah, he's like, "Wow, so you actually like stuff."
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows what? Maybe he's actually seen the films before, because he has been based on his line later.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe just the question is, how do you get these tickets to begin with?
Sure. I would actually wager to say the tickets aren't legit at all.
Maybe.
That they're just forged tickets. That's kind of what I was thinking. And I mean, that might be reading too much into it, but
I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, anyways, so then we have some jerks that just pull up and start ribbing on the funeral home ride, which I must say, they're jerks, because that hearse is awesome, man. Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. Gothic design at its best.
So Tom almost gets angry. He almost loses his cool.
But Marco steps in.
Yeah.
And challenges them to a race.
And essentially sets them off the Marty McFly way by calling them chicken. Okay, Jacob, do you want to take us through this moment, because it's just beautiful and glorious?
Yeah, and what happens is these jerks come up and pretty much criticize the like transporting someone or something along those lines, like, being assholes and all that. What happens is, like, as you said, Tom's about to lose his cool, but then Marco steps in, challenges them to a race. if you can beat us to the next light, like, further to the next light wins. But what happens though? They speed off while Tom and Marco remain behind. He's like, wait, and then all of a sudden you hear police sirens.
And then I just love Marco's just dry as hell delivery. He's just like, and those guys are going to jail.
Yeah. And then the next thing is like they're driving, but they're riding by in their hearse. And then
I wish I could find an image of this. I really do, because it's one of the funniest images of season 2.
Yeah, and they just like stare at them like puppy dog and like puppy dog eyes, like,
oh god, it's
they're just driving by, and then while the two guys are in the police car.
Jacob, I would wager to say that might be the funniest single joke in season 2 so far. I was laughing my ass off at that.
Oh yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Just the great setup, like Marco's dry delivery on they're going to jail. Just really good stuff all around with that scene.
Yeah, definitely. That was great.
And of course, the awesome punchline of the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, but then, Jacob, Marco, and Tom discover another thing that they bond over. What is that?
The same musical taste.
Oh boy. And here we go. The episode kind of turns into half a musical. It's like we're kind of veering into Steven Universe territory here, which I am fine with. So
I forget the name of the band.
The band is Love Sentence. The song is Awesome Feelin'.
Oh yeah, that was
yeah. Okay, so Tom is just like, come with me, Marco.
And it has a montage of them doing various bonding activities.
Yeah, after it's discovered that he basically has like a Helga Pataki like shrine to this band. He has a signed picture of him in Justin Towers and a vintage 5-disc CD player, which I must say, Jacob, I still have a 5-disc CD player. So
I once went to a house that had one. Those things are pretty awesome.
I had it in surround sound too, so it was in my grandma's house, so I couldn't do it all the time. But I would house sit for my grandma when she went on vacation, and
that's even awesome.
Put on like Pink Floyd, like the Wall Disc 1, the Wall Disc 2, Dark Side of the Moon. Hell yeah! All right. Anyways, we're getting way off track. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, they show a montage of like them partying on the Tiger, doing
the Tiger is doing all kinds of fucking out there stuff.
Yeah. Doing various activities until Marco realizes it's almost time for the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy!
So they have to get going.
So Tom locks the door, and he locks it with this terrifying like horn chain padlock.
But Marco actually does get testy. It's like we have to get going. And then he like, why can't Tom gets angry, thus blowing the ruse.
Yep. And then it's revealed that the White Tiger was the whole time just a balding, middle-aged anger management teacher.
The same one from the first episode, Blood Moon.
Oh God. Right.
Same one from Blood Moon Ball.
And that's an instant fail. But hey, you almost made it this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say somebody went that long. I'd say he pretty much passed the whole, like, he can stay.
I know, man. This episode really does kind of garner you some sympathy for Tom towards the end. It's like, throughout the whole episode, you're wondering, like, what is he up to? Like, does he have some sort of ulterior motives? But when you find out what it actually is, you're just kind of like, well, fuck. Just give him some credit.
Trying to pass an anger management course.
Right. So I don't know. Good job for making Tom a little bit more sympathetic. Just kind of they're breaking down the layers like, very slowly.
I mean, I guess Marco does have the right to be angry in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But he probably didn't need to get like berate him over that, like didn't call him selfish and all that.
Yeah, Marco's reaction was a little curious because he was really more peeved about the line than anything else, and that kind of leads to the question, like, in this test, I guess Tom can't tell Marco about the specifics, I don't know. It's a rabbit hole I don't want to dive into right now, but
I did kind of feel bad for Tom anyway. Either way, I mean,
Mhm.
he's just a guy trying to pass an anger management course, which is like it's been revealed in the past that he is actually trying to have anger and to calm his anger problems.
Sure.
It's
So
one reason why Star left him.
in true Steven Universe fashion, we get a love duet between the two of them. Oh God. Singing a love scented song called Too Little, Too Late. Oh boy.
Yeah. and thus Tom decides to repay to try and amend his ways by reviving Mackie Hand.
Yeah, and at first it seems like he's just having a giant temper tantrum. But no, it's just an awesome like conjuring spell to revive the dead, which is a nice payoff.
Yep.
So Mackie Hand is he's a very nice guy. He's like, oh, I took quite a tumble there. Hope I didn't make it too far behind shooting schedule.
You're like, wait, I'm dead. Well, at least he's accepting of that fact.
Yeah, he's cool with it.
He's like, yeah, I'm dead. That's cool.
So Mackie Hand,
now he can do all the deadly stunts he wants without having to worry about dying again.
Exactly. So Mackie Hand, Tom, and Marco all go to the movie marathon, and of course there's this douchey usher who's just like, nobody gets in without a ticket. It's sold out. Yeah. But of course, as soon Mackie Hand is there, Marco points it out. Oh, shove off, Grandpa, before I have to get physical. Nope, big mistake. He
starts beating the crap out of everybody.
Oh, God.
And it's like, I still don't like you, Tom.
I still don't like you either, Marco. Okay, so final thoughts, Jacob?
Ending was a bit weird. I mean, Marco's reaction could have been a bit different, but I guess for the sake of the episode, it needed to be that way.
Yeah, I thought overall this episode had a lot of good parts to it. Mostly the humor, specifically that one bit with the cops pulling the guys over, and that had me rolling. That was one of the funniest jokes of the season.
Yeah, that could be the saving grace of any episode.
And the tiger. I just want to point out, like, the tiger in the montage, once you know that the tiger is just the social worker, it makes the montage like 10 times more funny. It's very good to rewatch knowing what the tiger twist is. Because look at that. It's like, like looking at this picture, that there's just a little fat balding man in that tiger outfit who's having to carry Marco and Tom around as they're just like partying. It's just like it's delightful. It's delightful to think about when you watch that montage.
I never even thought about that. I was just accepting him. Now looking back, it's like, you're right. I mean, he's letting two guys ride around on him.
Oh God.
Which makes some disturbing imagery if it weren't for the costumes.
So I would say this is definitely a strong episode, not like among the strongest of the season, but a good kind of character build up for Tom. Makes him slightly more sympathetic than he's been in the past. A lot of good humor. I think the humor was kind of definitely the strongest element of the episode. But Jacob, we're about to talk about a very unconventional but very plot-heavy episode. And my God, Jacob, do you know what we're going to talk about next episode? Do you know what substance, what thing that everyone is going after in Muni? What particular object of desire that we're going to talk about, Jacob? What is it?
The corn.
The corn. The corn.
The corn.
Okay.
Yes.
So we will be doing that very, very soon, folks. Like, we'll be going live with that in the next few minutes, talking about what's the name of the episode, Jacob?
He's Mystery.
He's Mystery. Yes, thank you. All right, in the meantime, stay tuned, folks, where it's going to be getting a little weird and a little wild yet again on Tiki's Universe.
I still hate you, Tom.
And now they're going to jail.